Hey guys, Jonathan Her here, and with the pandemic going on, I decided to make a video about which iPad would be best for homeschooling. I'm a father of 3, soon to be 4, and unfortunately, I'm in the boat with you for distance learning for my kids. So I've got the ranges from pre-K all the way to a senior in high school. So I've got to kind of find a way to get devices that will actually help them to learn. And if you've already kind of been through it, you kind of know it's kind of tough.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
I decided to make this video about which iPad would be ideal for distance learning, or if you're just trying to educate your kid rather than send them to school. So I started off with the iPad 7th generation, trying to make sure what to call it, or the proper way, versus the iPad Pro 11. Just to give you an idea, you've got the iPad Pro that starts off with 128 gigabytes and with the starting price of $800, versus you've got the iPad 7th generation with 32 gigabytes and starting off at $329. So there's a big difference. We're talking about $450 when you really break it down. So which one do you want to spend your money on? It's really up to you. I'm just going to go over the differences between the two. With the iPad Pro, you've got 6 gigs of RAM, 11-inch display, 128 hertz display, liquid retina, and 10 hours battery life. And the price range can go from 128 gigs at $800 to 1 terabyte at $1,200. Now next, the iPad 7th generation starts off at 32 gigabytes and gives you, you've got 3 gigs of RAM, a 10.2 inch display, and that's just a regular LCD at 60 hertz, and the same 10 hours battery life. The price range goes for $330, giving you 32 gigabytes. Then it jumps up to 128 gigabytes, but is at $430. So you've got the two right there, and the biggest thing that I found is that I have the iPad Pro and I got the 256 gigabyte version because I intend to actually use this to teach my daughter who is starting pre-K, but I also intend to use it for video editing. So it's gonna kind of be, I don't want to say a laptop replacement, but more, I would say, a video editing tablet. So because it's not truly replacing my desktop, but it's pretty close to it. Now, would I recommend you spend that much? It really all depends on what you want to do and what your budget is. A lot of times when kids are using these tablets, you've really got to monitor what apps they're using and how things are being used, and I guess your knowledge base as well, because you could get away with just using an iPad, or you can get the iPad Pro. Do I recommend the iPad Pro? I'll break it down to certain categories. So when it comes to best for pre-K to 5th grade, I'm gonna give it up to the iPad. What storage range should you get? That really all depends. If you're using this solely as the only device, there's no laptop, there's no phone, there's nothing, this is strictly the device, you could get away with 32, but if you can, I would try and go for the 128 gigabyte variant, just because it gives you a lot more room if this is your number one device. If you've got other devices, go with the 32, you're pretty good. Now for high schoolers, this is a tricky thing, because not every high schooler is going to take advantage of the device that you give them. Most high schools actually use Chromebooks, so I mean, you don't need a lot of horsepower. It's more so what is your student really doing with their devices. Now if they need a true laptop replacement, this is where I lean towards the iPad Pro. Now you don't necessarily have to get the latest and greatest iPad Pro. You can actually get a refurbished one or get the 2018 version, but an iPad Pro is where I would actually recommend. Now, when it comes to best hard drive space, 128 is going to be your sweet spot. Hands down. 32 gigs is fine, but when you're actually saving files, or editing photos, video, you're gonna want to, the bare minimum will be 128 gigs. Now when we get down to best screen size, it really all depends on what you're using this device for. If it's strictly as a tablet, you are not trying to replace a laptop, you can't really go wrong with either one. And for portability, it's going to be the iPad 7th generation with the 10.2 display. But if you want the best, I guess, overall display, you're going to want to go with the iPad Pro. Now, these are simple opinions. They're purely my opinion. I've purchased the iPad 7th generation, and I've also purchased personally for myself the iPad Pro at the 11-inch. I can say, for the most part, if you're not really working on video, you're not working on anything that involves multitasking, then you can pretty much get away with everything on the iPad. Yeah, I said it, the iPad. Now, if you just have a knack for wanting the latest and the greatest, then you're gonna wanna go with the iPad Pro, but we're talking about your kids right here. So, let's focus. Which one are you willing to invest in? Either or is a good investment, but which one can you truly invest in and not regret it? So I leave that up to you guys, and I wish you the best of luck. Parenting right now during this pandemic is going to be kind of tough, but these are my ideas. And what I would say is, if you're going to get any of these devices and you don't need them ASAP, utilize Best Buy's refurbished products versus Amazon's renewed program, which pretty much is refurbished units. The iPad Pro that I currently have right now is a refurbished unit and has Apple Care with it. So it's been refurbished to the point where Apple believes it's still high quality, comparable to new. So don't be ashamed of getting a refurbished unit. It just means the internals may have been tweaked, but everything else is still the same. If you guys like these videos, go ahead, hit that like button. If you really like these videos, go ahead, hit subscribe. And as always, let's get social. Hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, and that's pretty much it. I don't even mess with Twitter anymore, so sorry. Hit me up in the comments down below, and I will be doing another video about some cases. And I guess, yeah, redundantly, I'm Jonathan, and I'll catch you guys in the next. Peace.